Recording in progress.
We recording? Robert? Welcome everybody to the West County Wastewater Board meeting. It is 6:31, July 2nd. Madam Clerk, could you please take roll?
Here.
Here.
Present.
Vice President Sudek. Aquí. President Rentila.
Here.
Mr. President, we have a quorum with all 5 members present.
Thank you. If we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. You may observe a moment of silence, seated or standing. Director Alvarado, please lead us.
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you. General Counsel Nicole Witt will serve as parliamentarian for tonight's meeting.
As a reminder to members of the public in attendance, the board has adopted rules governing the conduct of its public meetings. Public participation is welcome and encouraged. All public comments should be addressed to the board as a body, and the board asks that you please respect the 3-minute time limit per speaker. All persons attending board meetings shall observe the rules, any additional rules the board may establish, and the orders of the president with respect to the conduct of the meeting. No person may disrupt or disturb the board meeting. Disturbing, impeding, or otherwise preventing the orderly conduct of the board meeting could result in an individual's removal from the meeting.
Thank you. Directors, before we begin with tonight's agenda, I ask that you be mindful of the board's rules of decorum, in particular to practice civility and decorum in discussions and debate. In order to preserve the order of this and every board meeting, directors will wait to speak until they are recognized and will restrict their comments to the motion or agenda item under consideration. Thank you. Now is the time for public comments on items not on the agenda. Madam Clerk, have we received any written or requests to speak for tonight's meeting?
We have not. If anyone wishes to make a public comment on non-agenda items, please approach the podium. Would you please state your name for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Yes, my name is Thomas Johnson. I am an employee here at West County Wastewater. I've been here for 28 years. Here with a bunch of my union brothers and sisters tonight. And as you can see, just by reading some of the signs before you know, some of them are not happy. I'm their union president, and I understand what they're dealing with and how they're feeling. I didn't script anything tonight because I wanted to speak from the heart to the heart, reach the heart. The very last time I showed up in this place, we danced. We fist bumped. We had a really good time. So we wanted to come out and have a really good time with you guys tonight. Let you know how we're feeling. Some of the signs just basically let you know we've seen where the contract negotiations, things of that nature, don't exactly make us feel that some of the things that we're discussing on our daily work activities, we're doing things like equity. Equity is a big word. We hear this every day just about here at West County Wastewater, almost every single day. And it's kind of hard to go home and feel that you're being treated equitably when this one gets that, this one gets that. I don't get that. So I don't necessarily feel that some of what's being preached is being practiced. So again, like I said, I didn't script anything. I just wanted to come here and represent my brothers and sisters and just, long-time employee here. I know there are times when, the economy does what it does. We have no control over that, but there are times when we can do certain things and we just don't or won't. And we'd like to know, if we're as important to you guys as you say we are. Show us that we're as important as you say we are. It's like repeating. I've said this once, I've said it twice, and this speaks. This speaks. We can all read. This speaks. We'll come back, we'll dance. If we have to come back and dance, we'll keep dancing. We'll make the party bigger if we have to make it bigger. Let's do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
hired as an OI temp, and I got hired permanent in 2014. I enjoy the work I'm doing. I like the science about it. I like helping out mankind, well, humankind, excuse me. My job is to make sure 100,000 people in Richmond, the product that's in their house is not good, leaves their house. Make sure we're safe in the plant, we go home to our families, and make sure when we discharge to the ocean, we protect the diatoms. Diatoms is part of the oxygen that we use from the ocean. If we dump too much chemicals in there, we can kill off our diatoms. This is our objective. It may seem times that we're not being responsible. We're responsible all the time because I'm using smell, sight, and listening, like in a car, to make sure the plant is working 24/7. We're on call all the time. It bothers my heart. When COVID jumped off, I had to come to work. A lot of people didn't have to come to work. That's all right, because we didn't know what was going to happen to society. But we had to be to work going through mist, grabbing samples, and family members passing away. But we had to show up to work, make sure our family was all right at home, and show up to work as an operator, because it was an honor to do this and work for Richmond. That's why I'm here, because I had the opportunity to get a great job, but also give back. Because I came in a generation when we used to pollute the earth. We stole trash in the ocean. We stole trash on the freeway. We used to pour motor oil in the storm drains. So me being here is an opportunity to correct what I did from the past. Hopefully, we'll come to understand that we all get paid equally with a union situation, and that we can move forward and continue being successful and getting awards and recognized from the west of Mississippi to the west coast. West County is recognized. I thank you for this opportunity to speak to you, and may everybody have a great and successful day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any additional comments?
Hello, everybody. My name is Will Silver. I'm a project manager here, and I'm also the shop steward, chief shop steward. So I represent the FOU, and I also represent the managerial unit as well as the shop steward. And I'm here today because you guys have on the closed session negotiations with labor. And I think you guys might think that you have a difficult decision that you have to make about whether you're going to be supporting the ratepayer or the worker tonight. Do you support, for the ratepayer, you have your fiduciary responsibility, and you have to be the guardrails of ballooning expense, and you have to keep them safe from budget overruns. Or do you represent and protect the worker who's on the front line, who has expertise and historical knowledge, and who keeps the community and the environment safe? And well, I think it's a really simple decision. You have to support the ratepayer. And the way that you do that is that you support the workers here, all these people here. And these are the folks that represent our values. If you want to know what our values are, you just take a look at these folks, and we've got service and trust, collaboration, leadership, accountability, and sustainability. And so in some cases, there might be insufficient data to represent what the cost of that is, but we know what the cost of retention is. It's extremely expensive. You can just Google it and understand what it costs to replace people. But these people aren't just fighting for money. They're fighting for their jobs, and they're fighting for their values. They're here because they're passionate about the work they do, and they want to keep working here. And so when we're talking about the difference in 3.5 and 3.8, it seems that is, there's a saying about knowing the cost of everything but the value of nothing. And so we ask that tonight you support the ratepayer, and in doing that, you support the FOU group here, and you support the district values. So thank you tonight for letting me speak. I appreciate it.
Hello, board and district manager, Robin, Nicole. Thank you guys for thank you all for giving me an opportunity to speak. I wasn't gonna, but as a ratepayer, I just feel like I have a really unique and a beautiful perspective on this because I get to see not just both sides, but actually three sides, because I started here in admin a long time ago, so I never really saw hands-on what the FOU group was about and what they did. I heard, but I never got to see it, and now I'm actually doing it, like firsthand. And it's amazing, and I love it, and I want to continue to learn and grow, and I think I've been representing the district really well and, you know, earning my stripes and getting my reputation out there, and I want to do more of it. And I will say that a lot of these people, if not all of these people, I look up to them. They have taught me everything that I'm learning now and inspired me to change jobs and be brave and do the work that I'm doing. And if it wasn't for a lot of them, then I probably wouldn't have done that. I probably wouldn't have been brave enough to do it. And as a ratepayer, I feel like I don't mind paying them more because they deserve it. And they earned it. And they're so amazing, like all of them. I can say all of their names here. I won't because I know it takes long. I only have 3 minutes. But I can probably tell you also with each name that unique and distinct trait that they have or personality thing that makes them who they are. And I love them. I know we have our ups and downs, and you know, we're all not perfect and we're all human, so we're gonna have, at the end of the day, I think it's the main goal, and we achieve that all in a great way. I feel like we don't get a lot of complaints, and the CSO crew shows up at the drop of a dime, and we have people that call in and they turn in surveys saying how amazing they are and how they're always willing to help. And I mean, what more do we need to do to prove that? Like, we're doing what we are passionate about, and we love the community. So I just ask that you maybe take all that into consideration. And, you know, I know it's hard, the decisions and the, you know, decision-making, it's not easy. I know your job's not easy. I know it's hard to sit up there and feel like you're being judged or attacked or whatever, fill in the blank, but we're not, we're really not. And we do appreciate you and we do respect you. But it's like sometimes we want to also feel the same thing in return. So thank you for the opportunity, and I'm sorry if I took too much time.
Thank you.
We know you, Mario, today. Do they know your name?
Claudia Alonso. Good evening, everyone. My name is Geraldine Gonzalez, and I'm one of the managers for West County Wastewater, working as a lab manager. I'm not here as a manager. I'm here as an MEU. I'm actually one of the managerial employee unit leader. Our contract ratified last year. And I'm here, I'm standing, we're standing stronger, and I'm standing with them. That's why I'm here. I come in every day with them. I come in at 5:30 in the morning, I see them. I have to look at them in the eye, and I don't know how you want me to convince them that we are fair. I don't know how I can look at them and tell them we respect them or we value them. I don't know how I can look them in the eye and tell them that we're trying to be equity here. We have promoted the DEIAB, now known as RISE. As a manager, I do my best to promote that. That's part of my job, right? But it's hard for me to look at in the eye every single one of this, people that I work with, that I come in here every day and tell them, we value you, we respect you, when MEU got 3.8. 2 weeks ago, Unrepresented get a 3.8. But the FOU could not get a 3.8. Why? Without them, I won't be able to run the lab. Without them, I don't know how we're gonna run the plant. Without them, I don't know what we're gonna do on the streets. But how can we say that we value you and we respect you when you don't even wanna give them what they deserve? They're not asking for more than 3.8, what I got. Do I deserve the 3.8? Yes, I do. Do the unrepresented deserve the 3.8? They do. Ask each one of us and look them in the eye when you come in at the plant or the CSO or whatever, and look at them in the eye and tell them, I value you, but I won't give you 3.8. I value you, I respect your job, but I cannot give you 3.8. Are they worth it? Yes, they are. Do we value them? Yes, we do. Do we respect them? Yes, we do. Without them, we won't be able to have West County wastewater. And what I'm asking here as a manager, help me do my job and help me to stand here with them and tell them we value you. And that's all I'm here for. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Do we have any further comments?
Good evening. My name is Sam Caston. I'm the Union Vice President for FOU ACU. Rod mentioned this earlier. We've been talking about it recently, but you remember in the early days of COVID, back in 2020, when we didn't know how it spread, whether it could be caught from wastewater, how dangerous it really was. We knew almost nothing about it. Let me tell you a story that I'm sure played out in a lot of these households here. I just started this job in late 2019, and as the pandemic was ramping up, my wife begged me to quit. She said, let's leave, let's move to the country, let's ride this out somewhere safe. And I told her that this job is important, that somebody has to do it, that I made a commitment to protect the people of this district, and I intend to keep it. So I stayed, and then came the shift changes. The staff were split into isolated groups, and officially this is about safety. But everyone who worked those shifts knew the real reason. The district was bracing for casualties. If COVID swept through, one team killed them all, the other group can keep the plant running. That's a hard position to be in. It's dehumanizing, and a lot of us still carry that today. But we showed up anyway. We didn't back down. We kept the place running for the people of this district, and it took strength and it took selflessness. We do our work with pride and with dignity. The people in this room have earned your respect, but they have not gotten it in this negotiation. Frankly, it's a shame that these people aren't at home with their families right now, and instead they have to be here just asking you to treat them right. Because now, even now, the danger hasn't gone away. I mean, we've got collection staff working in traffic. We've got maintenance crawling into confined spaces. We've got environmental compliance facing off with hostile ratepayers. If anyone in this district is going to lose life or limb on this job, they're probably in this room right now. So look at them, because these workers deserve your respect. They deserve your treated as well as everybody else in this district. Thank you.
Any more public commenters?
Good evening, directors. My name is Marsha Lowry. I'm a retired senior maintenance technician from down at the treatment plant. Worked there for 21 years, and I've seen this go around several times. The negotiations, the pushback from the other side and everything. The one thing that's not here tonight is equity. Some groups I've heard in the past got good raises, 4 or 5, 6%, some more. The FOU never gets to see anything like that. And now to hear that, some groups are getting 3.8. and you're haggling over, 3% or 0.3%. It's ludicrous. I'm a ratepayer. I see these guys out on the street. I never get to go down to the plant anymore. I'm excluded from there. But I see the collections guys, and I see what they do. You need to value their service. As the gentleman just spoke, they're the ones that put their life on the line. They're the ones that can potentially get run over, hit with toxic gas. Fortunately, we're trained for that, but it can still happen. And so I ask you tonight to do some parity, equity. Give these folks what is others are receiving. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate everything you folks do.
Thank you, Marshall.
Any more public commenters? If anyone on Zoom wishes to comment, please raise your hand.
I'll be quick.
Oh, excuse
I know
me.
that we have
All right.
an evening to go through. I'm Tobias, I'm a maintenance technician. I just wanted to keep it simple. The people back here, the field unit, the taxpayers pay for the service that we provide. Without us, there's no service. It's as simple as that. Have a good night.
We do a last call for Zoom. We have no further comments. Thank you.
Thank you. This is your chance. Before we go to closed session, I just want to let you all know that without the workers, we wouldn't have ratepayers. And we're going to do our best to see what we can do and make this happen. So I appreciate you all coming in. And so moving on, General Counsel Nicole Witt, please announce the closed session item.
The board will now convene into closed session as described in the agenda. Now's the time for public comments on closed session item 1. Madam Clerk, have we received any comments or requests to speak on the closed session item?
We have not. If anyone wishes to speak on closed session item 1, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
We'll now convene into a separate room for closed session and return to open session at its conclusion.
Please turn your devices off. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, we still recording? Looks like we're recording, correct? Welcome back, everybody. We're back from closed session. It is 7:45, July 2nd. General Counsel, is there anything to report from closed session?
There's no reportable action.
Thank you. Let's see, General Manager Andrew Cloud, could you please lead us through the remainder of the agenda?
Thank you, Mr. President. The consent calendar consists of items 2 through 6 on the agenda. Madam Clerk, have we received any written comments or requests to speak on the consent calendar items?
We have not. If anyone wishes to speak on consent calendar items, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
We recommend the board approve the consent calendar items 2 through 6.
Mr. President, I move the item.
We have, Madam Clerk, before we take roll, you have a comment here or a question?
No, I just want I just have a comment about the proclamation, the two proclamations for Disability Month. So, thank you very much. And just to reiterate, and I think I've said this before, so for, the Americans with Disabilities Act, was not only was it really important, it was key to ensuring that it's one of the biggest demographics of people who are covered under the law. And so I'm glad to see this on here, as well as Disability Pride Month. And I just encourage everyone that not all disabilities are visible. There's a lot of them that are invisible. So that was it. Thank you, sir.
Could you take
Sure.
roll? Thank you.
On the motion by Director Alvarado and seconded by Vice President Sutter to approve consent calendar items 2 through 6, those in favor say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is regular calendar item 7, the possible actions to amend general manager employment agreement and adopt revised wage schedule. We have decided to move this item and item 8 to a future calendar. So, General Manager, would you care to continue?
Thank you, Mr. President. Next on the agenda is regular calendar item 9 to adopt the fiscal year's 2026-2030 strategic plan. Madam Clerk, have we received any written comments or requests to speak on this item?
We have not. If anyone wishes to speak on item 9, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
All right, are there any questions from the, oh, sorry.
If you don't mind, Mr. President, I will, we have a brief presentation to discuss.
Sure, let's do this.
He kind of peeked his head.
Yeah.
It's good. Good evening, Justin Lovell, Deputy General Manager. So this evening, we want to present the fiscal year 2026-2030 strategic plan. Just as recall from the board in May, we presented the draft strategic plan after a many-month effort from reviewing current documents, the current strategic plan that just ended a couple days ago as of fiscal year 26, as well as workshops with the executive leadership team, members of staff, workshop with the board of directors, and several discussions about the direction and goals for the next 5-year strategic plan. So tonight we just want to go to a recap of the strategic plan, what was discussed. We've made some edits and modifications based on the direction from the board discussion in May. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nancy Hedrick, who has been leading this effort with Raftali's financial consultants, who the board has hired to to do this effort, and we'll kind of discuss where we're at and kind of the next steps. So I'll lead it over to Nancy right now.
All right, great. Members of the board, nice to see you again. Nancy Hetrick with Raftellus, and delighted to be here this evening to the strategic plan for your consideration for the fiscal year 26 to 2030, if we can believe that already, so soon. Thank you for your time in May. We have tried to accommodate and include all of the comments and revisions that were discussed during that meeting. And so this evening, my interest is just to give you a quick overview. I won't take a lot of your time, but certainly if there are any final changes or questions, we'd love to hear them. Otherwise, our hope is that you will accept the strategic plan and we can move to implementation. So with that, let's see, is this the clip? Oh, look at that, it's just like magic. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So I'll just do a very quick recap just to get us all on the same page. I'm not going to go through all the details that Justin just reminded us of in terms of the process, but it has been a long and engaged process. We'll walk through the elements of the strategic plan. You have a copy of it all formatted, and then we'll talk about next steps after the adoption of the plan, what happens. Next slide, please. So this is just a reminder that the strategic plan really serves as a roadmap for the district. It has been modeled and used through your last plan with success. And so this is building on the work that has been accomplished to date and will continue to serve to inform direction, resource allocation, and the work of the district, as well as to help to communicate and celebrate progress along the way. Where we are in the progress on the next slide just reminds us that we're close to the finish line, but this is not all of it. Implementation is really important, and that's really where the magic happens. And so at your direction, by establishing the strategic plan, you now have a framework that the team here will be positioned to now deliver on. So we'll be working with the staff to set up for success implementation for effective reporting and tracking on the progress. Next slide, please. And this just outlines the elements contained in the strategic plan, just for reference and for a reminder. It points to your North Star of where you want to go in terms of your vision, and it cascades all the way into operational objectives and key performance indicators to really track and monitor the progress that's being made. I won't read through all the elements of the slide. On the next slide, we have our vision statement. We reviewed this when we were together in May. There was no request for change, so it is the same as has been previously. So a regional leader championing environmental stewardship, resource recovery, innovative solutions, and community engagement. Likewise, the next slide shows the mission of the organization, which is really the purpose, the driving reason for being here. And again, we reviewed this in May. There were no comments or changes made, so it stands as the same. On the next slide, we look at the organizational values, of which there are 6. This is something that has been really integral into the organization, and we reviewed this with staff through the process. Again, there were no changes in May to the values, and so they remain as they had been previously. Finally, and importantly, we get to our strategic goals. These really provide areas of focus and priority for the next 5 years and provide some definition in terms of what you are seeking to accomplish. On the next slide, we're reminded that they provide direction and focus for the organization, and they will be achieved through a whole range of objectives, many of which are outlined here in the plan. These then translate into clear action items, and we'll review those as well. Some of the items in our prior version in May, we've moved into sort of an action plan model at the direction of the board. So on the next slide, we see all 6 of them. And we will go through each of these with their definitions, but we have infrastructure optimization, environmental leader, integrated systems and innovative solutions, fiscal responsibility, organizational capacity and development, and engagement, partnership, and advocacy. So as we walk through these, on the slide we start with infrastructure optimization, and I won't read all the words. You have a copy of the document and you've had a chance to review that. This is the statement, the goal statement that we developed coming off of your board workshop. There were no changes recommended when we were together in May, so it is the same as it was before. Likewise, we have a set of 7 objectives related to infrastructure optimization. When we reviewed these in May, There were no changes to this particular area. So they also stand the same. On the next slide, we have environmental leader. And so we have the goal statement listed here as well. One of the comments, it doesn't change and did not alter the language, but was a reminder in the comment the importance of the pursuit of knowledge and how this relates to being an environmental leader. And so just an acknowledgement that that's an important attribute to the board. And on the next slide, where we list our objectives for environmental leader, we had some changes. So we had some conversation and we made the addition of that number 2 that's shown for you in that sort of teal color that reads operationalize and monitor the performance of the microgrid. So wanted to be very explicit. This is a big investment and will take time and attention. So that has been included as a new objective listed here. There were no other changes on this set of objectives. On our next one, we have innovative systems and integrated systems and innovative solutions. There was no change to the goal statement. However, we made some modification at your recommendation and request on the next slide. And so previously we had 7 objectives, the first of which was stated to deliver an IT action plan. We had some conversation that some of the items that appeared in the objectives really felt more like action items. And so we've attempted to elevate them up, recognizing that developing an IT action plan is something that will likely happen in order to deliver on these objectives. And so that was removed in honor of the others. Also, the number 3 there was combined. We merged them, and it really speaks to a high level of focus for the objectives. So we previously had optimized current systems for efficiency and effectiveness, and then a separate objective that spoke to ensuring seamless integration of current and future systems. There was the observation that they were related and can be merged, and so we have combined them into a single objective for the plan. On the next slide, we have organizational capacity and development. There was no change to the goal statement. And in the list of objectives on the following slide, there was a discussion around the importance of the board's role in organizational capacity and development, and so that professional development and other related activities should be inclusive of the full organization, including the board. But there was no change made to the language of the objectives, just a recognition that that was a part of it. It was assumed to be included staff and board. On the next slide, we have fiscal responsibility. No change to the goal statement. And in the conversation among the objectives, there was a discussion around the importance of optimizing funding, that this is really a focus and it touches, on the next slide, please, a number of the objectives. We did not change the listing of objectives so that they can stay discrete and you can track progress and performance against them, but a recognition that the goal is optimizing funding through fiscal responsibility. On the last one, we have engagement, partnerships, and advocacy. No change to the goal statement. And on the list of objectives on the next slide, thank you. No change to the list, but a reminder that it requires active pursuit of knowledge. Just as with the environmental leader, we had some conversation that the board remains committed to curiosity and the pursuit of knowledge, and that's really important and critical to the success in each of these areas. So with that, we have any questions or comments you might have or reflections on the plan, and then I'll do a quick recap of what is next if you have no changes.
Start out with Director Wiener.
There's like 2 documents in the packet that we received. And if your deck looks like an exact copy of the preceding report or plan, and that there was just a difference in language between them, and they use the same picture, handsome employee who happens to be here.
Are we talking about the strategic plan itself or the PowerPoint?
Yeah, the strategic plan.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so the PowerPoint and strategic plan have a very slight difference
Okay.
in language, and we have the goal of making significant strides toward becoming a carbon net negative enterprise in the debt. And the environmental lead page of
The plan?
plan says transition toward a zero emission industry. So those two are not the same.
Thank you. Great eagle eye.
Yeah, I can add as an editor. I'm so happy. Okay. Then my comment is I am pleased, and I hope the board is pleased with the strategic plan. The values expressed in the plan reflect good values and give a high-level roadmap to attaining them. It shows the power of collaboration and how the many viewpoints that make up a district can result in a workable vision of a better future for the agency. The work, and this is the real work and most important work, is to turn the strategy into reality. The next steps of planning are laid out in the strategic plan. And after the plan is complete, let the work begin. Onward and upward.
Very well said. Thank you. Director King Meredith?
Some of what Director Weiner has just said, I ditto it. I thought looking at the previous strategic plans and what its map was, and to follow up what is now being presented, I just thought it was awesome to see the works and what has been laid out and how far that the organization has come. Also, I really felt part of reviewing this, really reviewing it from the conversation that we had when we all sat down together, and to really see it in writing, and to actually follow through and go back through and see where we're at with our vision and with our mission, and as being environmental stewards and what we're doing for now and looking at the future for the next 5 years. I just really, I was really at awe with it. And I thank you so very much. And I thank our staff and the organization for what's being done and what it's going to follow through in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Alvarado?
Just want to say thank you for all your help putting this together with the board and staff. It was a big, daunting project, but we got through it, and I echo what my fellow board members have said. I think it's a very good document and good things that we're going to be going forward. So thank you.
Yes. Vice President Sadif?
Is it on? I can't see it. Is it on?
Looks like it.
Is it on? I think so.
I think.
Okay, thank you. Yes, so speak only if it improves the silence. So I only have a few things that will improve the silence. So I won't repeat what's already been repeated. I will send, I can send it by email. There's just a couple of little typos that I saw. So I don't like to print out with that, but that was just me. But my biggest thing is on one of the slides, the integrated systems and innovative solutions. Can you go to that slide? I just had a quick question. I think this has come up before, so I just want to make sure. It's the objective 4.
Leverage data to inform decision making?
And I think we talked about it before, so it might just be me, so you can refresh me. Is the data, is the way it's just hanging out there? What data, kind of data? I think that's what, like, every time I read it, it's like it's longing for another word in front of it. Right?
Okay.
It's longing for some other word that describes the word data, right? Like, I don't know. Because everything else throughout the the plan says things like effective or efficient or sound, maybe it's sound data, I don't know, but it's longing for another word.
Okay.
Because it's not just any data.
Right.
When we have decision making, we're basing it on some kind of sound research or some data.
Right.
And I think I'm just looking for, isn't there
You want a
word?
qualifier to describe what the data is.
Qualifier, that's the word. A qualifier, because that's what we use for decision making, not just any data, right?
Fair.
Okay, and then the other one was, I think it's the next slide. It's the engagement.
That's the last.
Is that the last one? Yeah. And it is objective 3.
Deliver regular presentations at state and national conferences.
That's the one. Keep going. This is environmental.
It's the very last.
one.
Yeah. One more. There we go.
Here we go.
Yep.
So deliver the regular presentations, state and national conferences. I believe we talked about this, but I would like for it and the board to concur on this, to say regional. So local, regional, state, and national conferences. We do a lot of, between Joe and the general manager and all of us, we do a lot with city councils, with the county. So it's not just state and national, it's also regional and it's local. So I would like it to say local, regional, state, and national. And I told you, it wasn't much.
Easy. Assuming the board all concludes, we're good.
It was pretty well reflective of what we discussed and what we talked about the last meeting. So we can have those couple of changes. I personally do.
She's the auditor.
That's all. I want everybody to be happy and proud.
So it's all for me, sir.
Thank you. Great statements. Oh, I'm sorry, Director Weiner.
Data used to be my life.
You got a word for me.
So,
You got a word for me?
A lot of words came to mind, but I'm not sure what, I mean, the first thing that's important is that it's validated, clean,
Reliable.
you know, we have to audit it. We had to do all that before we looked at the database, so.
It's those kind of words.
Yeah.
Data was my thing.
Yeah. Those are the kind of words I'm looking for.
That's what I would, yeah.
You had.
If you have preferences, you can share them along. Otherwise, we can use, yeah.
I can think about it. Thank you. But that's what I'm looking for.
Thank you. I appreciate all the comments, and I do have just two simple questions. For those that are watching this and will be watching it in the future, can you tell the public what Ref Telus does for West County Wastewater?
Yes, I would be happy to. So who we are as a firm. Raf Telus is a management consulting firm that works with local government and utilities. We're a national firm. We're headquartered in North Carolina, but we have a strong presence here in California. We have, 1994, if we do the math back to that, 30-plus years of experience, committed in serving local governments, and that with a full range of support. Our work began working with utilities, helping with financial analysis, with operational improvements, with rate studies, and all things related to the delivery of effective utility services. And then in the last decade and a half, we've expanded into local government more generally, meaning cities, counties, and special districts. You get a twofer on that one. So we support public service. We're committed to public service, have come from our roots there. And the team that I lead is over strategic planning, working with local governments and utilities. And so it's been an honor. That's been our role here, and we've been delighted to do so.
I appreciate that because you were mentioned multiple times yesterday at the Richmond City Council meeting.
Okay.
For a report that was given over to the grand jury. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted people to understand that.
Why you selected
you can
us.
multitask, yeah. So also, I was just curious from your perspective, was there anything that you think that could have been added or subtracted or anything that caught your eye?
honestly, I'm very interested and committed to the process and making sure that it is inclusive and engaging along the way. And I felt that from the staff team all the way through to the board workshop, we had very engaged process. And so I feel really strong and good about the outcome of the process and that there is a sense of ownership and buy-in in where it is. I also believe that what happens next is equally important. And so really turning the plan, your roadmap, into actionable work and delivering on the implementation plan is important. And you have a great track record of doing that, and I know that will continue to be the case. We're committed to helping to set up and deliver on those systems and to ensure that the public, the board, the staff, everybody is knowledgeable about the status of the plan and what activities are underway over the course of a 5-year horizon.
Thank you, thank you. Before we ask for a motion and take a vote, are there any other comments or concerns from the board or questions? Being none, thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
So I'd like to ask for a motion and a second to approve regular calendar item number 9.
So, yes, so I move we adopt the strategic plan for fiscal year 26 through 30.
With the minor edits.
Yes. With the edits as advised. Right?
With my edits.
With the several edits as advised to the board.
Thank you. Can we get a second?
If I may, I would seek, with regard to the changes that need to happen, I need clarification, especially with what needs to happen with environmental leader, transition toward a zero emission infrastructure. If I could get clarification on what change needs to happen there. And I think I'm okay with the qualifying language for data and adding local and regional to number 3 on engagement outreach. Okay, so just, yeah.
Yeah, there was just a difference in language. Pardon me?
It's corrected in the plan.
Yeah, yeah, the plan needed to be corrected because the deck didn't have the same language, but had the correct language.
So it should match the slide?
Yes, the deck,
The
PowerPoint language was the correct language, and the report had a different language.
Director Weiner, you're referring to the PowerPoint talked about a net negative potential strides towards a net negative future as opposed to a transition toward a zero emission infrastructure.
Okay.
So there's a conflict there. And definitely, Joe.
Is your mic on?
Definitely highlight Joe Neugebauer in our report. That's very important.
Can I ask a clarifying question just to make sure that I am? So moving towards a net zero infrastructure or fleet?
Say again?
In the PowerPoint deck, it talks about net zero, which is with a correction to fleet. And I think that it was in the plan infrastructure.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the fleet.
Right, exactly. And I think it was infrastructure.
No, this was an environmental leader.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and then.
You're talking about number 6.
Yeah. So in one, it's zero emission. No, wait a second. Yeah. No.
It's
Yeah, zero emission and transition toward net zero is the.
Right.
Is my preferred.
The language he's looking at is not on the list of objectives. It's up under environmental leader, which is why I think Director Weiner keeps saying that. In that paragraph towards the bottom, it says making
You're talking about on
significant
here.
strides toward becoming a net negative
Gotcha.
enterprise. And so he's saying that instead of what's in the plan now where it says the zero emission, it's there. So it's an enterprise, it's the infrastructure, I think would be whichever you're looking at. It's not specific to the fleet.
Right.
That has its own bullet.
Right, okay.
Okay, I didn't realize that I was confusing people, but I often do.
But that's what you were referring to, right? That
Yes,
language.
no, that's correct. That's why I mentioned Joe.
The goal statement, yeah.
That's right. One that Joe endorses.
Madam Clerk,
I have what I need. Thank
you
you.
have, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so,
I'm glad she does.
It was moved by,
motion.
I moved and Director Weaver second.
Madam Clerk, could you take roll? Thank you.
sure. On the motion by Vice President Suddeth and seconded by Director Weiner to approve regular calendar 9 with suggested revisions. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is other business, item 10, reports from staff, general manager, and general counsel, which includes the May 2025 check register report. Madam Clerk, have we received any written comments or requests to speak on this item?
We have not. If anyone wishes to speak on item 10, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
We have no additional reports, but staff is available to answer questions regarding the May 2025 check register report, if there are any. Okay, then the final item on the agenda is item 11, Director's Comments, Meeting Reports. Madam Clerk, have we received any written comments or requests to speak on this item?
We have not. If anyone wishes to speak on item 11, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
Okay, I guess as a reminder, directors will report on meetings they attended for which they are seeking reimbursement or compensation for WCW and other matters within the subject matter and jurisdiction of the agency. We'll start with Director Weiner.
Since our last meeting, I attended the Richmond City Council last night. The response regarding the grand jury's recommendations about Richmond Police Department was very interesting. The discussion about what is public safety was implicit and not explicit. The other item that was of interest was the sewage and stormwater charges were both raised. From the report, I thought I heard that a single-family charge was $125 per year, but in the packet, I read $1,250 for a single-family charge, and the latter puts our rate in a good light since we're looking at $850 per household. So that was interesting. And is there any time to make suggestions for future agenda items? Is this?
Now is the time.
Now is the time? Yeah, I'd like to reevaluate, or actually, I'd like to do a study, a management study, possibility going on a calendar, and we can discuss whether we want to do this, that would look at our management structure and consider it in a cost-benefit analysis. We have 6 executive positions, and they take up a significant portion of the salaries, and so I'd like to bring that, maybe a management study, since I'm not an expert, and not a comparison across the district, but, could we save $10,000 in our costs for management? Is there a way to do that without, changing the management, but just to discuss overall costs of having 6 executives. So.
Thank you. Director King Meredith.
Right, so it's, so there's a motion to put a management study on a future agenda item, and now we'd need a second.
I didn't hear him say he'd like to make a motion. He just,
Well, I think that's what
It's automatically a motion when you want to put something on the.
you want to put on the agenda, and we have to vote on it.
okay. So there's a motion on the floor?
Yeah, I'm willing to second it so we can discuss it.
Sounds good. Madam Clerk?
On the motion by Director Weiner and seconded by Vice President Sutter to put a management study on a future agenda. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Director King Meredith?
Yes, thank you, President Rutila. I have several pages here, but I'm not going through all of them, okay? But last, yeah, but last night was the MAC meeting that was attended, and the discussion, we had a presentation from Chevron, and what Chevron was doing, they were coming to the community to just give some fast facts of what they're about and what is going on since the last time they visit the community. They spoke about the benefits that they're looking at to present to, which has been going on. And the benefits are looking at solar generated will be used to power some of the refineries, which, you know, we're really looking at a lot of organizations now are looking at operating under solar, and to reduce our use of electricity from the public grid. And they were showing the grid that was here in North Richmond, and to estimate to reduce 1,550 metric tons of carbon dioxide, which is equivalent to CO2e annually. So with that, the presentation and the different slides that he has shown, it was a pretty lengthy presentation that it was good we only had one presenter because he took up the whole 2 hours at the MAC at that point. But he was very thorough to bring the information back to the community and to share with them what the benefits were and what is going on as far as their training and what they had in place with the agency now, and looking at with the I think it's Vero that is moving away next year, that the impact that may cause for California itself, because I think they do something like 20% of California for that, for the jet fuel. So they expounded on that, and it was very, you know, interesting that no one really had a lot of questions. You would think that with Chevron there and from the presentation that it would have been a lot of questions, but he was very thorough with his 2-hour presentation. I didn't think he was ever going to get done, but he did. The other thing was that for Juneteenth, and I don't want Vice President Sutter to be remiss that I didn't mention Juneteenth, but at Juneteenth, after I did my walkthrough and talked with individuals that I hadn't seen for over 40 years, that I decided to make my stop with my colleague and to cover our table, our site, with our little demonstration with the little toilet. And it's surprising, a lot of people came to our booth and they didn't understand what the 3 Ps were. As long as we've been talking about 3 Ps, it was surprising. They were saying, what is it? And I had to expound again. Pee, poop, and paper. That's the only thing that goes into the toilet. It was surprising that they didn't get that, but but it was good we were out there. And then also to plug in that we were from West County Wastewater and we were directors and our booth is out there. Go to the center of the grounds and go to the center grounds and you'll see them. So that was fun. And also our finance and administrative committee meeting that we had just, a couple weeks ago? About a couple weeks ago. So for right then, that is my report for now. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Director Alvarado.
Yes, I have, 1 second to get my notes here. Okay. I had to leave a little early because I was appearing at our last meeting via Zoom. So I need to report on those meetings as well for June. Attended June 5th, the Mayor's Conference in San Ramon. On June 9th, the RNCC Neighborhood Meeting via Zoom. June 10th, IOE Committee Meeting. San Pablo Council Meeting via Zoom, where they had 2 public hearings. The subjects weren't really anything reportable here. Also on June 24th, there was conducted interviews with some GC firms via Zoom as well. And finally, last night, July 1st, attended the San Pablo Council meeting via Zoom, where there was a spirited discussion on rent stabilization regulation policies. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice President Sedith.
Yes, sir. Makes me say something. Elected officials, Black elected officials, Latino elected officials, and Muslim elected officials all have meetings. I attended a well webinar, which if any of you are interested, let me know. We had a really good one on the 18th. It was called Recycled Water, Key to a Resilient Water Future. I attended Juneteenth in Oakland, actually at 2, San Francisco, Berkeley, and Albany, and I spoke at 2 of those. And then the Juneteenth at Richmond, which we had a nice booth directly across from West County, across the park, but we could see West County right in front of us. I was able to do a little bit of speaking there, but my favorite part was seeing Director King Meredith. She was one of our, what do you call those? Grand Marshals. She was one of our Grand Marshals. Yeah. Yes. Everybody clap for her. She did a fabulous. She was one of the original. Not founders. What do you call it? Helped put together the very first ones. Juneteenth in Richmond, and then all of the work she's been honored to all the work she's done in Richmond, North Richmond area, and she really didn't want to get on that stage, but we got her up on stage. So I consider that, I should get double points for that. I got her on the stage, she smiled, she got an award, and she actually said some words on the microphone. So triple points. And she went through the crowd and waved. Yeah, I also went to 2 events for National Caribbean Heritage Month. I spoke in Sacramento and then in South Bay. For those who didn't know, it is Caribbean Heritage Month. The 350 Bay Area Climate Action Meeting, I just attended that, of course, our FNA meeting. And several trainings from CSDA, which I want to put a plug into this group, that there's several more that are coming up. So I wanted to just tell you guys that there are trainings coming up for that would be a good benefit for all of us. It will happen during our break, but you might want to sign up now because the one before the CSDA conference in Monterey is going to fill up fast. There's a pre-conference workshop. It's the SDLA Governance Foundations. I know all of us have our certificates. However, Director Wiener, Director Alvarado, and I, we had ours from a while ago. So it never hurts to do it again. Things have changed. So that training takes place on the 25th of August. It's the day, that first day of the annual conference. But other than that, in September, right before we come back, there's a couple of virtual workshops and this is all CSDA, by the way. Is on the California Government Compensation Reporting Rules and Requirements. It's that new assembly bill that's come out about how we have to report changes in salaries. And there's another one, there's an SDLA Special Districts Leadership Academy for the audience. It's a module on the board's role in finance and fiscal accountability, which I would highly recommend. I've taken it before, but I'm taking it again. That is on September 17th. It is a workshop, so it's from 9 to 12. And there's more, but I'll give you those as we get closer to them. But I would recommend it, since we put in our strategic goals, that we will continue to, what do we call it? Up our training, that we would do that. And then the last one, I'll tell you, I did facilitate training with the district attorney's office and then part of our clerk, information from our county clerk on governance. And I will see if I can give you guys a copy of the slides, but it was really good on the things that you should and should not do as an elected official. Well, the things you should do and what happens if you don't do them. So not should not, but what happens if you don't do them, and how it reaches the district attorney's office, right? Which was very interesting because then at the Richmond City Council meeting last night, talking about when things reach their office, including the most violations they receive, Brown Act violations or notice violations. And this other one is quite interesting, and it's really just for the board to know. It's the failure to adequately report finances, or commingling funds, or misuse of public funds. All of those were kind of tied up. They were all tied up in finances, which is why I'm recommending that everybody attend the finance courses if we can, because she said that's one of the biggest things that happens to elected officials is financial issues. And I will leave that in the hands of our very capable general counsel to give us additional training on that. So I wanted to, the end of this, I wanted to put forth a recommendation for a future agenda item for that training. Financial training on, there's been a lot of bills and rules coming out of Sacramento that affects us. So I would like to move to have additional training as soon as possible, well, in the next few meetings on these new rules.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll second it.
On governance matters?
On governance for the board, yeah, the finance governance, fiscal governance.
Training.
And Director Wiener.
Yes, I second it.
Madam Clerk?
On the motion to add a fiscal governance training to a future agenda, moved by Vice President Suddeth and seconded by Director King Meredith. Those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say no. The motion passes.
Thank you. It's all for me, sir.
Thank you. I wanted to piggyback on the Juneteenth affair. Congratulations to Annie King Meredith. And, congratulations to your cousin Reggie for cleaning up the car so nicely. I saw him out there washing it and waxing it. Looked good. For me, I was at the city council meeting as well. Raftelis was mentioned a few times. The grand jury report spoke about the lack of police and the need of police officers in the city of Richmond. There were some issues. They were changing the agenda around. It took about 40 minutes. They were pulling stuff off the consent item, calendar and putting stuff on, so that was a little mess there. But also, I wanted to say that for the next RNCC meeting, we'll be having Daniel Chavarria, Public Works Supervisor or Superintendent, and also John Joya from the Supervisor John Joya would like to do a presentation on the award that they received from Chevron and how they'd like to disperse it. So we look forward to that. And then, excuse me, for Daniel Chavarria?
Yeah, your next
It would be the 17th or Monday? Let me see here. It would be July 14th, I'm sorry. For the, yes, okay. And then we were also discussing having Helen Nolan from the county registrar's office because of Measure J, voting has changed. There's a primary system in the city of Richmond, which we've never had. And so people need to be aware that the way we vote in Richmond has changed and will change forever. And so that's basically the end of my report. I also, before I give it to the clerk, I wanted to say I want to thank all the presenters. I also want to thank the unions for coming in tonight and representing themselves. And Vice President, is that it?
Yeah, I did have one more thing to amend my report. I did attend the Hazardous Materials Commission meeting, and too bad Joe left, so I wanted to tell General Manager and Joe knew about it. Yeah, they were speaking very highly about West County Wastewater's presentation last month. And they were really impressed, and there were some people who weren't able to make that meeting to see the presentation. So they asked if there are any additional presentations, could we let them know? So I had them just email me to remind me to ask the question. So they sent me an email asking if we're giving any of these public presentations anywhere else, like we've done in the city of Richmond, in San Pablo, to let them know so that they can attend. So I will forward you the email.
Thank you. And before I give it to the clerk, I wanted to announce that all of the RNCC meetings and the city council meetings for the city of Richmond, as well as our meetings, can be found on YouTube. They're archived. So if you've missed anything, just look for us on YouTube and our website. Madam Clerk?
Thank you.
Infrastructure Operations and Environment Committee meeting is scheduled for July 8th at 10 a.m. A special meeting of the board is scheduled for July 9th at 5 p.m. Finance and Administration Committee meeting is scheduled for July 10th at 9 a.m. Guys are gonna do. And the next regular board meeting is scheduled for Thursday. I'm sorry, yeah, what did I have? I'm sorry, for July 18th, excuse me, at 6:30 p.m. I jumped down to the next paragraph, excuse me. So also I wanted to let you know that Contra Costa County has advised that they will soon send out email reminders to office holders about their upcoming campaign finance filing deadline. Oh, thank you. The next, excuse me, okay, let me finish this. And so statements must be filed through a net file by Thursday, July 31st, 2025. So again, look out for an email from Contra Costa County Elections, okay? And just a correction on the next board meeting, that's July 16th, not the 18th.
Thank you. Is there anything else before we close? Anyone have anything else?
I just have a question. Do we have a special board meeting for July 9th?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, it's July 2nd, 8:38, And I guess we'll go ahead and close this meeting. Thank you all. Bye.
So, this special meeting, oh, that's the one we just scheduled. We haven't seen an email or anything.
No, 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 we should have, this is why John.
Alrighty then.
From the ad hoc meeting.
So we also have a celebration on the 9th, right? I think I have. Okay, yeah.
Is it?
I'm just checking out. Because we have a party to attend at the